Hey everybody, welcome back into the shed. Today we're going to talk about ALW's pendant offerings, specifically the Qube and Core. So Qube comes in three basic sizes, and then there's two options within each size. So there's Qube 200, Qube 300, and Qube 400 in SX and LX shells. The real difference between all of these is going to be maximum lumen output and the different optics that are involved. All right, so what I'm holding in my hand here is the Qube 200 LX, which I think is my favorite size sort of shape combination. It's a really nice sort of proportion, right? I really like that. This is in a gloss white. At the core of these products is the Staccato module inside, right? So 80 or 90 plus CRI. And these optics are field interchangeable. You can just twist and pop out, which we should be used to at this point with Staccato. The drivers can be either integral to the body, they can be integral to the canopy if you use the deep canopy, or they can be remote if you want to keep a shallow canopy. Really what changes with these sizes is how much heat sink they can put in here, which will drive how much light can come out of the fixture. So what I'm holding in my hand and what I just fired up is that same 200 LX sample with a 3000K chip and a 40-degree reflector. And you can sort of see as I pan upward, there is just that little bit of variation from the beam edge to the field edge, but it's very slight, and I think at any real working height, you would probably not notice it too much. There is that sort of centered beam in there. The camera is picking it up, probably a little more than your eye would. But it's Staccato, right? So really, really nice modulation of that color over the angle, right as you get sort of the outside part of the beam. I'm just going to pan this over. Hopefully you can see this in camera. You can see this very little variation moving from inside to outside as you see that color there as I pan across. So really nice performance. It's Staccato. It's what you're used to, both in direct and indirect, wall mount, and surface mount. The next part I wanted to talk about is, I mentioned before, this is a 40 degree, but it's also available in the larger sizes with an 11, a 20, a 40, a 60, and an 80 degree beam. So really, until you get to the shorter form factors, you can get almost any beam variation you need depending on what the project calls for. So at this point you might be saying to yourself, all right, it's a cylinder, it's available in square and round, what makes it particularly special? Why would I specify this versus the other million things on the market, right? So I think this is kind of an example, right? This is the Core, which is essentially the round version of the Qube. The performance aspects are basically the same. But you can see what they've done here with Core, right? This cutout. These can be customized. This internal color can be customized to anything that you want. Deep blues, you can see on the website there's saturated colors. There's some really cool stuff. But I think what this speaks to is not just that they can do a cool cutout. It's that the product is very specifiable and very customizable to your project. This has been done in track mount. It's been done in gimbal mounted. It's been done as a catenary mount. There's also a variety of these products that can be done in wet location and done outside on catenary mounts. So it's a really versatile line that's very customizable to what you're going to need on a given project. So listen, there's also very basic pendants and cylinders available on the ALW website, and you'll find those. But if you're used to specifying V2, and even if you're not, this is a sort of Swiss Army knife, very, very variable, very, very interesting set of pendants that are available on the site. From the Nova Glow, which I don't have a sample of here today, but I think is a good example of sort of a more decorative version of this. There's a small adjustable version, and then there's all the different pendant and gimbal mounts. So really think about the variety that's available with this guy. Think about what's available in square and round, in wet location, damp location, and dry. And that's, I think, where you're going to really see some variation. The other thing, and the last thing I'm going to mention, all of these pendants and cylinders, surface mount, wall mount, whatever you specify, are available in a BIOS chip. So if you're trying to meet the well building standard in an open office environment, it can be very, very tricky. But you have an option with these guys. All right? So that's where we're going to end it. There's plenty more information on the ALW website, plenty more information at the Deliver Lumen site. Thanks so much for joining us, and see you on the next one.